We're gonna get going, y'all.
If I gave you my love,
I tell you what I do. The great Al Green in the house.
I expect a whole lot of love out of you.
Yeah. 2M Bullies, what's going on, brother? Man, hopefully we got it this time.
Be good to me.
Hopefully we got it this time. King, what's up? Boo Man, please stop it. Trench, what's going on? Mr. Tips, what's going on? Hey Zeus, I promise tomorrow morning. I do got it though. Hi, what's going on, Andrew? Yeah, I'm an old man. They got me. Dave, much love, Canada. Mr. Lewis. CC in the house, what's going on? Ryan. I'm just saying what's up to everybody, man. Tone Horton, my guy. I'm gonna ignore Alan Dennis. That's my dude. What's going on, man? The one and only Pope. Yeah, today's show gonna be all right. Mr. Robert Vaughan, what's going on? Dave, what's up now? Oh, you sent me a message, Dave? I'll check it out. I was family day in it yesterday. What's going on, Ty? I gotta get with you, as a matter of fact. Come to think about that. Stomp down. Yeah, I checked that out, Dave. I had silenced all the messages, so yeah. Yeah, Trench, let me know. If you ready on the 9th too, Trench, just let me know. We can arrange something, man. We can arrange something. Let you say how I feel about the Colorado game. I expected them to play good. I don't know why. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why people were surprised. They got a lot of talent, man. They got a lot of talent, and I think with Dion, it's yeah. Please hit like as y'all come in. I'm gonna do the sharing as soon as this Al gets to doing what he do. Dion is a bad boy, but I think we have to pump our brakes. What's going on, John Stevens? Because that team is a good team, but they're known for giving up a bunch of points. They score a lot of points, they give up a lot of points. So they did what they were supposed to do. Now as Colorado moves into the more thick of the schedule, I think they're going to be a possible bowl team. But I think everybody going crazy when they believe that, that this is a national championship team. I think Dion and Big Sap and all them dudes, they can build a national championship quality team within the next 2 years, the way he's recruiting and getting people to transfer for sure. But I don't think that this team is it. But you gotta remember, they had one win last year. My Browns, I expect my Browns to do some good things. Of course, everything is dependent on Deshaun Jackson. And we'll see how that goes, you know what I mean? The Browns are loaded. I mean, when you look at it, one of the best defensive lines in the NFL, one of the best offensive lines in the NFL, very good receiving core, good tight end, Pro Bowl, maybe the best running back in the league, you know what I mean? So Deshaun Watson got something on his plate. You got one of the best secondaries in the league. We're a little bit skeptical at linebacker, so we have to see about that, linebacker and kicker. But outside of that, the Browns are lining up. I think the last time I counted, 12 or 13 Pro Bowlers. So there's no more excuses. Deshaun Watson comes to play, and they're a playoff team. And once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. If Watson doesn't play, then he might cost some people their jobs, and I hope that doesn't happen. But, I think the NFL season, we are upon it, and we're going to have some NFL shows where we just get down and nasty about the NFL and have some fun this year. What's going on, Tim? And if I missed anybody, sorry, I'm just trying to find this so I can show it. Well, Terrence, I said one of the best. I didn't say the best. One of the best. But keep in mind the Browns do have, well, by numbers, the Browns have for the last 3 years a top 5 rated offensive line. So, and you have 3 guys who are either all pro or pro bowlers on that line. Matter of fact, 4, because the center last year made honorable mention. The Eagles are the same thing. They actually scrimmaged each other, and there was a lot of compliments being thrown back and forth about the Eagles D line and about the Browns defensive line, about the offensive line. So that's good for my Brownies that a Super Bowl, a team that made it to the Super Bowl, thinks very highly of the team. So, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how a lot of these things gonna go. I'm excited to see how Lamar Jackson do with a new play caller over there. I think a lot of people bragging about Kenny Pickett with the Steelers and saying that he looks a lot better. You know what I mean? We'll see. You know what I mean? Darren said I had to put my Eagles out there. The Eagles is already out there. Everybody knows what they're getting from them. The AFC North is loaded. It's going to be good to see what Aaron Rodgers does with the Jets. San Francisco, I think, is in the same boat, unfortunately for them, that they were in last year, is that they might have the most talented roster in the whole damn NFL, but they don't have a quarterback. And when you don't have a quarterback, you know what I mean, it's not a ton of trick plays, you know what I'm saying, that's gonna help you out, you know what I mean? It's not a ton of trick plays that's gonna help you out in that category. So we could go through all these teams, man. Miami is going to be intriguing if Tua can keep his head inside of his helmet. Not being funny, the Chiefs is the Chiefs. Man, y'all know football is my shit. The Lions were a surprise team last year. I think they're going to be surprisingly good again this year. Competitive and possible playoff team. People are sleeping on the Rams. The Rams didn't lose as much as they thought they were. I was just about to hit the Saints. The Saints, I think Derek Carr is underrated. With what the Saints already have there in receivers and the talent that they have. People are sleeping on the Saints. It's just it's a top heavy NFL where you have some teams that are just like screaming, and then you have the teams who are going to be looking to get into this quarterback situation that's coming up in this draft. Fortunately, but not unfortunately for the Texans, they have a lot of draft picks. They have their quarterback, so I don't expect much out of the Texans. Honestly, I don't know about the Raiders. You know what I mean? I think the Seahawks take a step backwards. They surprised some people last year, but I think they take a step backwards. I could go through all these teams. The Cardinals, when your quarterback is hurt and you start dismantling. What's going on, Mr. Owens? You start dismantling your team. The Cardinals, they're going to be a top 10 draft team this year. They're not going to be that good. I don't know what Green Bay is going to do. They keep saying that they have a quarterback, but when you rely so much on having one of the all-time best quarterbacks, I think Green Bay will take a step back. Minnesota lost some talent, let go of some talent. Unfortunately for Kirk Cousins, I think they take a step back. I believe that the Bucks, you know what I'm saying, I think the Bucks have a chance. And this is not because Baker used to be in Cleveland, but Baker is better than what people think he is. People have to remember the year that Baker went to the playoffs with the Browns. He threw, I believe it was 31. It was either 31 or 33 touchdowns with only 8 interceptions, 3,700 yards. Which, with the Bucks having a pretty solid defense, if he can play at that level, and you do have great receivers with the Bucks, if he can play at that level or a little bit higher, the Bucks can sneak back in the playoffs. I think unfortunately for the New England fans, we might see the New England fans be a little bit upset this year, which I think they've had their share of titles, but they need a quarterback. Mac ain't it, and I stand on that. Mac's just not it, and he ain't gonna be it, and they need to go ahead and start moving some picks around to get Belichick a real franchise quarterback somehow, some way. Or, he can always, Belichick, you can give him me and 10 other guys, from just off the streets, and he'll put together a defense. But he needs a quarterback. It's always been proven that he needs a quarterback, like everybody else. But you know, we go with shit. We go all the way up there. The Bills fell off some last year. I expect the Bills to come back. I can go through all. Y'all know I love me some football, man. I can go through all of these teams, and I'm hoping that the Raiders do good because you know my friend, you know what I'm saying, Josh McDaniels out there coaching. You know, he was my high school quarterback. I hope he pulled the Raiders together. I plan on going out there, seeing that beautiful stadium, and catching the game. I hope he can pull them together, and they at least have a strong season. They gave him a lot of money, so I think Dallas is going to be Dallas this year. Dallas is going to be the team that everybody is hyping. But at the same time, Prescott ain't it, man. Prescott's not it. But you know, like I said, we're gonna do a football show. Maybe we come back, you know, maybe Saturday, man. Well, Saturday is college day. We'll figure out a day and we're gonna talk some football. You know, I wanted to do this. You know what I mean? I wanted to do this. And it's these debates that go on Facebook, and now they're bringing them to this page. And I told y'all, as long as it's a normal debate and not silliness, I will let it fly. We can have a good time. Hey, man, if y'all have time, man, you know, hit the like button. If you got a Facebook page, share it to your page or share it to a group or whatever the case may be. You know, like I told y'all, I've lost so much over these years. I just don't really have an interest in the silliness with some of these guys. And I've gotten old, you know, and I realized that, you know, we can talk knowledge, but the silliness, like I told y'all in the previous video, of people making fake profiles and all that shit. And the funniest part is all of these guys have me blocked, you know, because I'm different. I let y'all know that. And I got this. I could go in my inbox. I could show you some screenshots where I don't get on that shit. If somebody's talking too reckless on a Facebook page, I inbox them like, man, what is you trying to do? You know, we not gonna put on no show. If you want to see me, we can. That's just how I was raised. I'm not here to put on a public show. You know what I'm saying? Because where I come from, that's an indictment. You know, get to talking too crazy, and then something really do go down. They gonna you gave them all the information. You know, but I don't even want to do all that, you know what I mean? That's only if it gets serious. But these guys, you know what I mean? Man, hit me with them, Terrence. I'm trying to put this shit out here, man. But you know, I've been through so much, man. I've been through shit with registries. I've been through shit with, it's been a lot. When you run your mouth as much as I do, people are going to come at you one way or the other. And sometimes I'm hurting their bottom line, you know what I mean? What's going on? What's going on, Pharaoh? As a matter of fact, shoot me a text. I need your number so I can get that over to you. But I'll say this, you know, like, I'm only here to give y'all the information that I have. I'm not here to lie on anybody. That's why when people ask me certain things about certain people, my favorite answer is I don't know. Because if I don't know, I'm not going to tell you I know to make myself look smart. You know, that's sort of a silly thing. I'm going to tell you today what I know about the American bully. Some of you, very few of you, what's going on, Brick House, are watching for the first time. Some people will watch this later for the first time as these videos start to climb. But I will tell you this. First of all, so some of y'all are like, why is he saying this? You will know why, because some people will see this video and don't notice. First of all, you know what I mean? Okay, for sure. I'll check it out. I'm in my early 40s. I started with these dogs. I actually started with dogs when I was 14 years old. I didn't get into bullies till I was 17 years old. But I've been around the bully world, which at that time was called pit bulls, for a quarter of a century, you know. I personally know the people who made the name. I personally know the people who threw the biggest shows. I was at the biggest shows. I actually judged some of the biggest shows. So I'm telling you, some of y'all this so you just, you know, so everybody just chill. I know y'all know this, but, you know, I was the first one, literally had to fight to get Paco in the ring, you know. I've been all around. I was right there, in the room as we started to do the articles to put this thing together. My brother and one of my best friends, Danny Navoa, still has the original paperwork of when we were making the American Bully. I helped write the standard, put the input on the standard. The original standards are actually written after my female Hallie and Paco. So when I tell you I know what the American Bully is about, what it's supposed to be about, and why the things are going, it's not capped. I'm not one of these new people who feel like I have something to prove. I want to give you real information, and then I'll take you through the phases. Now, for those who don't know, the original American Bully, it had to be a pit bull. This is one of the reasons. Much love, Robert. This is one of the reasons why everything, I don't know if y'all remember Dog Fancy and Dog World magazines. Well, when you looked at those, it was no such thing as an American Bully back then. Everything was pit bulls, large pit bulls. You can go through some of the names: Razor's Edge pit bulls, Bow Wow pits, Pratt's pits, Blue Line Pits, which Eddie still never changed his name. It still says Blue Line Pits, Hall of Fame Pits. You can go back to the oldest of Gray Line Pits. It was always pits, 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 pits. So this is where I want to debunk some of you people who always come on my page, other pages, and as Marco just killed me with that, and I have to keep saying it. The new bully messiahs who weren't there, but they're going to lead the breed, and they're going to tell you everything that what I'm going to tell you everything that I went on. No, I can tell you because I was there. It was a very taboo thing for your dog to be considered, let's just say, a bulldog or have any bulldog characteristics. It was terrible. Some of the dogs who suffer from this, now go look up these pictures. Diego's Thing. If you look at pictures of Diego's Thing currently, you would call him a classic. But in that time, he had a kink tail and he had circular eyes. It was a taboo thing. Now, Diego, it's funny, that taboo thing. But anyway, he was clean enough that everybody was like, okay, he's so big, we got to use him. But it was like controversial. He was a controversial dog. If you look back on Monster G, you know what I mean? The black and white Monster G. If you look at Monster G, he's got to be a bulldog. That's definitely a bulldog. But if you look at him now, he looks like what we would call a classic. Corrupt. I was one of the ones that like with Corrupt, like, hell no, this dog looks so much like a bulldog, this, that, and the other. But now I just recently looked at pictures of Corrupt after all these years, 20 years have passed, and you look back and you're like, damn, he really wasn't as bully as, or whatever I thought. He still had those weird eyes and all that shit, but he wasn't a bully, like not really overly done. This was a very undesired thing in every facet, even for a long time, even the Gotti line people. And keep in mind, this is pre-exotic time. And they didn't really like bulldog type dogs. They weren't big on the bulldog type dogs. It's one of the reasons, and that's something else that we can go in at a time, where Gotti line started to fall apart. And it fell apart when Rich brought in this dog named Legend. And Legend looked exactly like a Johnson American Bulldog, but he was blue. That rubbed a lot of Gotti line people the wrong way, because you were talking about, you had dogs like, Monster J, Gotti, that were carrying the banner for the dogs, for the Gotti line thing. And even if you look at some of their other dogs, they didn't have that appearance. So that did rub some of the guys the wrong way, and that started the sort of downfall of Gotti line. And then they just went all in and went with the exotic thing. But I say all that to say this, is that it never was a bulldog breed. And even, I know y'all some of y'all have caught the lies of Dave Wilson, but you can listen. If you find videos of Dave Wilson and you go back to any of the videos that are older than 10 years, you'll hear him talk about the cheeks, the athleticism. The dog was pretty much set. He used the examples of like Remy and Pokemon and some of the other dogs back then, and he was just like, yeah, this is the way it is. I just want to make them more athletic. We want to get them this, we want to get them that. Well, what happened is that, of course, the change came with the extreme. And I told y'all, I did the interview, and I told people I did this interview, and I'm gonna find that interview because it's on Blog Talk. And where Dave specifically, and some of y'all were around then and y'all might remember it, where he was on the radio and he basically said that the extreme class is making the breed popular worldwide, it's picking up a lot, but the real American bullies, this was his own words, they're always going to be the bullies. He just wants the extremes there because the extremes are taking us to the next level. Well, because of people who've come along and has Dave Wilson ever know? Well, I would say maybe 3 generations. Maybe 3 generations. Yeah, maybe the early dogs, maybe 3 generations. Like when you talk about when he created, because you had to think, I could just go down the line and I could say he did the breeding that, well, him and Jeannie did the breeding that made Cairo. It's always an argument, but whatever. They were together, so we'll call that a Dave Wilson breeding, but it was really Jeannie's breeding that made Cairo. No, he don't have any generations that are still alive. Razor's Edge, as far as from his yard, is dead. It died a long time ago. And I'm not throwing shade. That's just the truth. Dave, when he met Deanna, he stopped breeding dogs. You know what I mean? And that's why if you look at the real Razor's Edge lineage, it's no real Razor's Edge dogs after Little Roe. Paco's not a Razor's Edge dog. That was True Tank using Little Roe. Now, you had a lot of people who used Little Roe, but if you think about this, the last big stud that Dave Wilson had on his yard was Little Roe. Because the thing of it is that what's his name? Hey, Daniel, don't tell them too much. They feelings get hurt when you say that. But yeah, the Elite Edge made it. But he talked about Demon Boy, but Demon Boy was actually overseas, and that was produced at Sean Jackson's yard, and it was a co-owned type of deal between Dave Bashar and the brother overseas. But yeah, Sean made that dog. It wasn't a real Razor's Edge dog. He just put Razor's Edge in front of it, as he always does. But anything that actually came from Dave Wilson, he hasn't really had a stud since Little Roe. And keep in mind, if Little Roe was living today, let me guesstimate this. If Little Roe was living today, Little Roe would be like 22 years old, 21 or 22 years old, somewhere in there. So that's how long it's been. It's all been fraudulent. But going back to those old dogs, this was the process that we used. And this will answer some of y'all questions who have never listened to me, so y'all can understand. Don't listen to these people. These people who talk about, oh yeah, you had to put some bulldog. No, you didn't. First and foremost, let's talk genetics. Anything that is incorporated inside of any breed can be pulled out. I've often told y'all about when I bred mastiffs. When I bred Rottweilers. Rottweilers are naturally mastiff dogs. So the top end that you would want your Rottweilers is 27 inches, 130 pounds. That's the top end. Well, what will happen with a Rottweiler sometimes is the gigantism gene comes in. The gigantism gene comes in, and you will have Rottweilers that come up 170, 180 pounds. The true good breeders, you know what I mean? Thanks, Robert. They'll get rid of those dogs. This is the part that makes you a breeder. That gigantism gene and the larger mastiff dogs are more prone to the gigantism gene, whereas the smaller or miniature breeds are more prone to the dwarfism gene. But it will happen to where you will see this breed go the opposite way. It's just like Dobermans. When I tell people that I have a Doberman that is literally 10 inches taller than the standard, you know what I mean? And what's going on, Ironheart? 10 inches taller than the standard and 150 pounds. They are out there. I have them. A lot of people call them Warlock or whatever. You didn't have to mix anything into them. You know why? Because the Doberman has very large dogs behind it. Most notably, it has the Great Dane behind it, which allows it to get very, very big if you don't control that gigantism gene. Now, every litter, every dog you have, there'll always be a puppy that seems to come out way bigger than every other dog. Or sometimes we have the way smaller ones that we call those the runts. That sometimes is just dwarfism kicking in or gigantism kicking in. You know what I mean? Well, the thing of it is that what we used to do, and y'all can check other people's videos. Just, it's nothing to be proud of, but you're making a breed. You would have our kennels that some of our kennels would have 20 litters in a year. I never got that high. I was more in the 10, 11 range, but you would have a lot of litters. And the problem that you would have in those litters is that some litters you would get nothing, like nothing. You would get a whole litter of very, very terrier dogs. But throughout the process, you would get 1 or 2 dogs that carried massive size. And you were starting to pull at these genes. You were taking the bigger dogs and you're starting to pull at these genes. Well, if you take that dog that has the massive size, he will still throw some smaller dogs, of course. But if you take him to a big dog and another big dog, you know what I mean? Much love, Ryan. Appreciate you. You start to pull towards the genetics that are making those dogs bigger, which with those genes being compounded, you get bigger genes. You get bigger dogs. It becomes more and more consistent. This is one of the reasons why the great dogs of old, let's say like a Cairo, you don't see his siblings. You know why you don't see his siblings? Because his siblings, they look like regular pit bulls. You know what I mean? Regular pit bulls. You have a lot of dogs from back in the day that you don't see their siblings for good reason, because they look like very, very much so regular pit bulls. You'll get 1 or 2 dogs here and there, but some of the other dogs wouldn't come out. Now, of course, as we were basically puppy milling, and as soon as a bitch hit like 18 months, you would start going ahead and breeding them. You would keep on getting it, keep on getting it, and now you tighten down the genes and you started to get more size. This is all good, Echo. You would get the size, you would start to put on more bone, and as you compounded that, you would get more and more, but at the same time, you would still get terrier stuff. Like, for instance, I'll tell you this. It's funny how genetics work. The breeding was done that made Chubb off of Armani. Now, although we live in a different time currently, that semen is technically still trapped from 23 years ago as far as the genetic profile. What happened? Chubb came out very bully, very massive. He's going to be a very big boy, very impressive, I have to say. Some of the other ones, not so much. Very, very terrier. Even though, his mother was bred down the line by Eddie at Blue Line, and there's a lot of size there, it still couldn't counter the fact that it pulled back towards the terrier. This selective breeding process is how the American Bully was truly made. Now, you have people who want to debate that and just, they know that you put in these dogs. But I want to ask y'all this, and this is a serious question. This is what they want y'all to believe. All of these, I know y'all did something. They want y'all to believe that, let's just say roughly, it was 200 or 300 breeders. I don't think Chubb is going to be much more than maybe 17 inches, and if that, because he doesn't seem to be growing. He's at 16, and it seems like he's stopping. Right now, he's 16, 92 pounds, and that's me keeping him light for the summer. Right now, my thermometer reads 98. Keep in mind, I'm sitting in the shade, and he's outside running around, 16 inches, 92, 93 pounds, and I'm keeping him light. He's still fast 2 days a week. I know at full maturity, Armani kept growing till he was 3 years old as far as filling out. Mandela, same thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, his head is huge, Chubb, Chubb is he's gonna be special. Like I told people, I put up those studs to Chubb, I put up those studs to Tommy. If I like a stud, not being arrogant, but if I like a stud, and it's gonna be a good stud. I'm not just putting anything. Y'all seen me talk about some studs and they just didn't make the cut. When it's a reason why it's a D line and it's worldwide. I'm gonna put it down. Chubb makes the cut. He's incredible. The closest thing I've seen to him is young Mandela. He's got that type of frame, but he's actually got better lines than Mandela, you know, and we'll see how it goes, you know what I mean? So it's I'm happy, you know, but those genes that he has are old genes, you know, and he does have the blue line genes, which if y'all are not familiar, a lot of Eddie's dogs at blue line are 130, 140, 150 pounds, and you can see it, his shoulders, he's got that big ass head, that really, really big neck, and like I told you, he fasts 2 days a week. Like, I could have him at 100 pounds right now, easy. But like I say, I have a sister off of him. She's not nearly as bully. Very clean, very beautiful, and I got good plans for her in the future. You know what I mean? I want to take her to Honey Badger to add just a great potency of old school blood that we use that will make some beautiful dogs. But she's not what he is. I'm very honest about the dogs. And this is what you had when you bred the older dogs. You know, it was hit or miss, but this was how you made the dogs. You had to be very honest with yourself. You had to be willing to sometimes, you know, pet home a whole damn litter, you know, try to keep the one or two to see if they popped, but sometimes you would have to get rid of the whole litter. It wasn't about a bulldog thing. You know, these guys come on, and one thing I say is when you live it, it's hard work. And why you will see, I notice if any of y'all follow Marco Suarez, y'all notice that he's getting more aggressive. Y'all seen Oscar Gomez jump on my lives, and he's getting more aggressive. Y'all seen Carlton Pratt talk a little heavier, my boy Danny Navoa. You're seeing some of the old heads pop out, my man Jake Lipton. Byron has been killing them. But the reason why people take that shit personally, you know what I mean? The reason why they taking this personally is because, dog, we put in the work. We sacrificed. You know what I mean? When you doing that many litters and you're being patient enough to, hey, let me keep this one, see how it turns out. Keep that one. We were dishing out money left and right, holding on to dogs, seeing how the process worked, having some success, but not having success in other avenues. You know, my original setup for Hall of Fame kennels, it was, man, 30 kennels out there. 30 very, very nice kennels, but it was 30 kennels. And keep in mind, in those 30 kennels, I still had, you know, my main dogs that would stay in the house. So at one point in time, I had 50 fucking dogs. You know what I'm saying? Literally had to hire help, you know, and a staff that would come every day to make sure that everything was clean and fed while I worked and looked at the dogs. And some would go, some would come. This was a process, man. And it was like, when I tell you I'm kicking out money, keep in mind, just for my staff, I'll never forget it. This is you know, early 2000s. You know, I was literally paying my guys who were doing my kennels $100 a day. You know what I mean? Every day, 50-50. Yeah, you know what I mean? Come out, do a couple hours, 50-50. Now, that is not a ton of money, but at the same time, though, think about it, 7 days a week, you know? $700 every week to pay my guys, you know what I mean? Food bill, you know what I'm saying? Astronomical. I'm feeding Ukanuba and raw chicken, you know, and we put in work, and you were patient, and you did the things that were needed to be done. So yes, it is a slap in the face when people who didn't even know about this breed till, you know, 10, 15 years after we started come and try to accuse everybody of cheating and violating the game. We just didn't do it. It's a reason why you can look through all of the Hall of Fame dogs and this and that and the other, and you'll find some terriers, but it's a reason why you don't find a flat out bulldog. But then, you know, and I'm gonna go forward and I'm gonna come back because I want to say this while it's on my brain. But this is how they work. Now, they don't call Bistro a bulldog, right? Denzel wasn't a bulldog. You could easily see where he comes from, Gargoyle and his mom. You know what I mean? So then you turn around, I make Mandela, who's way bullier than both of these, DNA tested, but they say that you can't advance the breed through selective breeding. This is why I don't like to talk to those people, because they'll ignore what's in front of their face and then go and write their own narrative to a story. Yeah, you're right. That was $700 a week, was some money, you know, especially early 2000s. But you know, this is what they do, you know. So this is the narrative, and this is what, and from now on, if y'all do me any favors, if y'all don't do any favor in this world, man, y'all do me this favor. The next time, you know, right now I'm on the Purina Pro plan right now. Yeah, I'm on Purina Pro plan right now. getting them 50-pound bags is costing way too much. I get some deals, but not much. Robert Vaughn, that's shit. That's what's up. I just love that people are taking pride in the old dogs again. I tell y'all that. But I want y'all to ask this one question, and I'm serious. The next time you get somebody who's spouting off that they know so much about the old dogs, right? Ask 2 questions. Ask, why is it that none of the old, so-called old heads, right? None of these old heads. Yeah, we was using bulldogs. I used this bulldog. I used that bulldog. Because you don't see any of the old heads like popping up like, yeah, I used this bulldog. You don't see it. Like you haven't seen a post where somebody posted up a bulldog from 22 years ago or 23 years ago and like, yo, this was the bulldog that I used to make this and make that and make this. You know what I'm saying? This is what my uncle was using to make this. You don't even see somebody snitching on a yard and showing you the dogs that you know what I mean, that is, Man, that motherfucking bitch is big. That's what she is. I don't know how big is that? That bitch is big, but she's short. She's short, but she's a tank. Last time we weighed her, she was 97 pounds. I just bred her to Chubb. Yeah. But you don't see this. You don't see, like, so what they're asking you, and I'll do this in 2 parts. What they're telling you is that we were so good that you had basically 500, 600, 700 breeders that kept their mouths totally shut on our huge secret that we had these mysterious bulldogs that we were using. Nobody ever leaked the bulldog that we were using to make these dogs. The secret sauce. So people can't even keep their mouth shut about shit they supposed to keep their mouth about. But they want y'all to believe that Gotti Line, Edge, Gray Line, and everybody had a meeting in a room and said, you know what, we're gonna use these secret bulldogs and we're never gonna tell anyone. It's 20-something years later, they still ain't brought them out. Y'all bring this up the next time they make that argument. What is the odds of all of those people from the 90s and early 2000s never saying anything, never letting a secret out of what bulldog they use? But see, nowadays you got all the conspiracy theories. Oh yeah, I heard such and such dad was a bulldog. Oh yeah, I heard such and such dad was a bulldog. Oh yeah, I heard this one was a bulldog. I heard that. I heard this. I heard that. All those is, I wish this motherfucker I heard would show his face one day. Because if the person I heard would ever show their face, we would learn a lot. Because people always heard something. And the funniest part is they always heard it, but they never tell you who the fuck they heard it from. So you can ask that person, well, who is I heard? Because if I heard showed up, it would be all kind of shit that would hit the fan. If that motherfucker I heard, I tried to look him up one day. I heard of Nebraska. I heard of California. I'm looking in every state for I heard, because they never show you a person. It's I heard, yeah. Oh, I heard. Or my homie, yeah, my one homie, my old school homie, he was telling me, who the fuck is your old school homie? Who is he? Dude, is he I heard? Is your old school homie I heard? Because I've been looking for this motherfucker for quite some time. You know what I mean? But they could never tell you. You know what I'm saying? That's just a way to say, I'm gonna make up something and I'm gonna validate it through an imaginary person. That's really their way of telling you that. I heard. I'm going to validate my lie through an imaginary person called I heard. You know what I mean? Hey, King, straight hitting the pipe. And that's what it is. Because, this is truth. Oscar literally hit me up one morning. It was early as hell. And he was doing an interview for this, I think it was Columbia, someone down there. And he Oscar talks so slow. He's like, homie, tell me something. And I'm like, oh shit. I thought it was some shit. But he was like, T, be real with me. Oh, Mr. Freeman, you ain't never lied. What's going on? Stick with it. But now Mike Land, we could assume very tough. But also think about it too. Mike Land's dogs are sort of outcasts. You know what I mean? Because they had that bulldog look. That's why to this day, you don't see a lot of Mike Land dogs. They were sort of outcasted in their days to where, nobody really knew too much about the Mike Land dogs as far as putting them with the other dogs. You know, they were popular, but Mike Land, even at times, Mike Land would tell you they got two different sets of dogs. They got two different yards. You know, so that's one where I heard didn't have to tell on them because, you know what I'm saying, it was a lot of obvious stuff going on there. But you know, one of the wildest things when we talk about this is that, you know, those conspiracy theories are always like, yeah, I'm gonna get Mike Land was like the Bashar back in the day. Like Bashar won't tell you what he did, but he'll tell you what he did. Like if you if you say Bashar mixed in bulldogs, he won't deny it. Oh, dude, you know, he'll talk around it. But Bashar, it's weird. He lies, but he's honest about some shit. It's the weirdest thing ever. Like it's crazy. But but you look at this, and then this is the second part of the theory, and I want y'all to really think about this. Because the one thing you could say, you could always make an accusation, and we live in an accusation society where people can say things, you know what I mean? And like, it's like the dude who went on live and he told everybody like, oh yeah, T robbed the fuck out of me. And the funniest thing about it is as his story, you know what I'm saying, continued, the one thing that sort of became strange about his story was this. He openly admitted that he refused to buy his puppy that was available. That's the time we live in. So you had like 1,000 people run with it and talk shit, and then all of a sudden, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, things got real. I'm gonna tell y'all what. Y'all stick with me, and we'll go overtime. But my mini me needs a bathroom break. So y'all give me all of 5 minutes, right? And I'm gonna continue this because I got a second point to make, and then I want to go into some other things where it's not just the dogs, but it's like, well, it is dogs, but it's not just these dogs. 5 minutes and Little Miss will be okay. I'll be right back. Come on, booties, you messing up the live, girlfriend. And I'm back. Thank y'all for holding on. Whew. All right, you good? Did you open your chips? Okay. You can drink some of that. I'll take that over there. Ooh, y'all know the life of a dad. It don't stop. Sit back and don't touch anything. You gotta put that in there and don't touch anything. But you know, yeah, that's one of the big things that drive me crazy. Push this up. There you go. Huh. Yeah, that's one of the things that have driven me crazy over the years is that most people don't truly understand like how crazy it is. And when I tell you all these stories about what we did, I do understand that you do have the Mike Lands of the world and you have a few people who are doing their own thing. But when you look at the big landscape, as you look at pedigrees right now and you look back at pedigrees, the one thing that you will well, a lot of people, it was funny, a lot of people definitely speculated that Corrupt was you know what I mean? A lot of people definitely speculated that Corrupt was whatever, you know what I mean? And I did too, but you know what I mean? But the funniest part about it is this the thing. Can't nobody, if you say that you know what was what, no, you don't. If people say definitely, if you keep on saying that, then you really don't know, because did you see the breeding happen? Because I've seen two very terrier dogs throw an almost bulldog. Now, there were some that was out there. I'm not saying that every single person in this breed played the game fair, but the grand majority of the people back then did, because a bulldog was not a desirable trait. Now, this is where I take y'all to the standard, and then I'll go to my next point. You know what I mean? Think about this. The standard when it was written was these were major issues. All white. All white. Why did they put all white in there? Because it wasn't a terrier. It wasn't a terrier trait. It wasn't a pit bull trait. It was something that wasn't allowed in the pit bull, but it was a bulldog characteristic. Get rid of it. Why did they put? Circular eyes? Circular eyes were put on that level because it was a bulldog trait. Why was loose skin a flaw? Because it was a bulldog trait. Why was a kink tail or a dock tail a flaw? Because it was a bulldog trait. Literally, I'm telling you this not because off of speculation. I'm telling you this because this was part of my work. You know what I mean? Well, see, now Dax is something different. And this is why I say, because we're talking about the origins of the breed. Now, as we go forward, the game got real tweaky. But the original dogs, hey, don't rub that. Use your napkin. Don't rub your hands on stuff. Get that blue stuff everywhere. But as you go to the origins of the breed, this is what we're talking about, the origins of the breed, the original dogs, the more older dogs. This was just not acceptable. You know what I mean? You didn't want a bulldog type of dog. Even the standard was written in a fashion that you didn't want a bulldog type of dog. So with that being said, it would never make any sense for us to use bulldog types of dogs. Let me see what you just said. Sick with it. I'm glad you said that. I had the opportunity to rub elbows with some serious game dog people, and they spoke about how their game dogs would throw bulldog type characteristics and they would have to get rid of them. You know, Mr. Boudreaux, he spoke on the fact that he even in his line of dogs, from time to time you would get these dogs that were too much bulldog like. And you know, they would have the bigger heads, they would have a lot of size, but at the same time they wasn't good for shit a lot of times because they didn't, you know, do their purpose like they were supposed to. Anytime you have a breed that has another breed behind it, it's going to show up from time to time. If you keep breeding towards that, you can pull it. You can pull it. Like I told y'all right now, as much work is done on the Rottweiler, y'all look, all you got to do is search Instagram. You have Rottweilers right now that are running around at nearly 200 pounds. Nearly 200 pounds. One brother over there, I think he's in like Dubai or something like that. He has a thing. Remember, wipe your hands on your napkin. He has a thing where they try to challenge him about his dogs. He showed 5, 6, 7 generations of his dogs to where they increasingly got bigger. Like, oh, you had to mix something. No, he started off with pretty much a normal sized Rottweiler, and off of his litters, he kept keeping the biggest dogs, and now he's routinely producing 190-pound Rottweilers, 200-pound Rottweilers. So you want to tell me that he had to mix something? You don't have to mix something to pull genetics. If that, the reason why it is called a pit bull, just like anything else with the name bull in it, is it has a bulldog behind there. Yeah, Robert, I've heard, now I've never seen them big ones, but I've heard they get gigantic. They get gigantic. You know, and the thing of it is we keep acting like you can't do this through genetics. Yes, you can. Just like the dogs can increasingly get smaller. The best case example, when you talk about getting smaller, no one had to mix. This is the one that's very, very well known, super well known. I'll take you through the steps. The father, look, I can take you from an XL, right? An XL who was 20, let's say 22, 23 inches, 115 pounds. 26.5-inch head. His next son was a dwarf, and y'all probably know who I'm getting at. 17 inches, 75 pounds. Who produced a son that was 16 inches, 80 plus pounds. Who produced a son, ironically, that was 14 inches, 50 pounds soaking wet. Who produced to another bitch a son who was 14.5 inches, top weight 78 pounds. And because of their popularity, no one would argue where these dogs came from. That's the lineage where you take it from Cairo to Little Row to Paco to Gargoyle to Denzel. That's breeding. If you looked at the bitches that they were taken to, none of the bitches are suspect. But the dogs kept getting shorter. Literally, in several of the breedings, the stud was actually shorter than the mom, but the dwarfism gene was so potent that it kept dropping the height of the dog. One of the reasons why, and you know, some of us who have Little Row straws still know that the one thing is that you know what I mean, Max, the only news you're gonna miss is that all what the fuck? All standards are finally done. And matter of fact, me and you need to. Tomorrow's a holiday. Let's get on the phone because now we can start planning. Everything is done, and now it's just filling in stuff. Everything is done. You know what I mean? So we gonna start getting tomorrow. Just hit me up whenever you want to. We start getting our plans together and seeing when we can get a date set. Good. But my daughter's over here showing me her blue face. Remember to put your blue face on there and not on my interior. But the thing of it is that this happens going the reverse way too, you know, and we can talk about this with people, is that, you know what I'm saying? You talk about gigantism. One of the most famous people of all time that suffer from gigantism is the wrestler Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant's parents were very, very normal sized people, you know, of course, because of his pituitary issues and suffering from gigantism, which can be treated now. As a matter of fact, my youngest son, Easy, they watch him for gigantism because he had some numbers that came off the charts, and when he was a baby, he grew really, really fast. You know, it seems like it's, I don't know what's going on with him. It seems like it's tapered his way down. He just abnormally a little bit more muscular now. Yeah, well, maybe he's just gonna have muscles. But you know, with a person like Andre the Giant and other people who suffer from gigantism, you know what the ironic part of it is even though this is a pituitary issue that allows for them to grow abnormally large, most people who suffer from gigantism, it is scientific that their kids, if well, not just if they are with a taller person, but their kids are usually taller, even if they're not abnormally tall, they don't fall in ordinance with their parents. They fall in ordinance with the fact that my dad is a very big man or my mom is a very big man, and they I mean woman, and they might not be that same height, but they're taller than normal. The science behind it is, of course, like they say, it's a slight transfer instead of a full-blown transfer of gigantism, so it doesn't need to be treated, but it's still shown to be this way. This is the way genetics work. The same thing that you've seen in the whatchamacallit. Let me see. Wow, Robert, I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm a Rottweiler guy too. I just never had an interest in the Giants because I wanted one that could chase somebody down and snatch them up. But wipe your hands, girl. Wipe your hands before you get it all over your nice little pretty dress. But it's a I tell you, this is the thing that Chef Rush, yeah, appreciate it. But this is the thing that people don't understand, and it's sad that the science of dog breeding has become what it's become. Like, if you want to look at some of the best stories, look more into the fact of like the putting together of the Doberman. Beautiful. The Doberman and the things that they had to do to get the Doberman consistent is just an amazing process. Some of it's still somewhat secretive, but you get the point that there is 7 to 8 different breeds that they made the Doberman with, and how they had to be so strict and specific to lock that look and all the characteristics in. And it was just, you know what I mean? It's an amazing thing. You know what I mean? Oh, happy birthday. 13, you the man. Yeah. But I tell you what, the more if we take a more scientific approach to breeding these dogs, you can lock in all the characteristics, and you can refine the dog, and you can have the health of some of the dogs. Now, this is the funniest thing, and this is where people make fools of themselves, and some people have made fools of themselves on this page, is that what they do is they come here and they talk how much about that your puppies are supposed to be big, and your puppy's supposed to have mass, and your puppies is born. And I'm literally talking about every single freaking day now. I see people posting that their dogs have died. 18 months, 12 months, some of them younger than that. They wonder why the dogs that have the old school look and develop into bullies are not affected by this heat. You don't just get part of the genetics, you get all of the genetics. Like, as I sit to y'all right now, and I'm being totally honest with you guys, I have no worries at all about my dogs having any issues at home. You know what I mean? I have no issues at home about my dogs. It's pretty easy for me. I'm not scared. I'm not worried. I'm not anything about 100-degree weather. My dogs, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's a sad thing that we have had to do. You know what I mean? To make everything work out. You get rid of puppies sometimes because they're unhealthy. What's going on? Let them hate. You get rid of puppies because you care about the health. You care about the conformation. When I send somebody something, I want that mom to be able to run through a wall, not fall out and die on them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so particular. I got my man Just up there, towards Dallas. I've been waiting to replace his male. I just want the perfect male to replace his male because it's got to be, Oh, Terrence, I know you ain't got nothing to worry about, You have to make a dog that can, and then the funniest part about it is as they grow and they mature, and these dogs, y'all see the dogs I post. I'm going to post 10 more of them just to piss these people off. None of these dogs died of heat stroke. Even when you see the biggest ones. You check how long they live. Vin Diesel, 10 years, 11 years. Bolo, 10 years, 11 years. Castro, 14 years. You know what I'm saying? This is, you know what I mean? This is, this is what you pride yourself on. But what I'm talking about is not just bragging on myself. Wipe your hands. Not just bragging on myself, but just saying this is that the terrier genes, the pit bull, is the most dynamic animal, in my opinion, of all dogs in the canine world. The pit bull is built to last. So when you have people who insult like, oh, that ain't nothing but a pit bull, that's like telling me I got a fucking Rolls Royce. Is you tripping? You know what I mean? If I can get the motor, and the characteristics of a pit bull and just add muscle onto that thing, I'm killing the game. They have brainwashed people into believing that the pit bull characteristics, and this is a terrier breed. You know what I'm saying? This is a terrier breed. This is the original standard says, Amstaff pit bull terrier. So that's why the old dogs they were built for this. Now what they've done is they broke the genetics down to where they want you to have fans on them. They want you to do all these different things, and they want us to keep on being blind. Man, hey, sick with it. The disrespect is real crazy. Because these dudes, you know what I mean? You have to have a lot of fucking nerves when your dog can't breathe to talk crazy about a pit bull. That's built to be able to breathe and perform under the most adverse conditions. Are you serious? You know what I mean? Like I told you, and man, look. Hey, for real, Robert Vaughn, they don't know, man. Pits, I've seen pits climb trees, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, Max, a good dog can survive in any climate. Like I said, now this is a serious climate here, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, like, the one thing I do have to do with my dogs is make sure that they got more water. You know what I'm saying? So, like, instead of me generally giving them water once or twice a day, now you got to check on that water supply 3 or 4 times a day because they're drinking more to cool themselves off. But think about it. They can cool themselves off just with water. You know what I mean? You don't have to spray them down with water. They just need a little something to drink to keep, you know what I'm saying? And they good. But we've gotten to such a point and such a situation in our breed that you've got people just flat out overlooking the fact that certain dogs in particular in the last year have had so many dogs die that it's disgusting. Then they want to put up stud fees for $50,000. You know what I mean? Then we see dogs who totally disappear off the face of the earth, the $1 million dogs, and we totally forget about it. It's never even a death announcement, never anything. We just forget about it because the dog has been gone, It's things that we know, and we look past that. This is why this was so important to me, and I don't want to get too churchy on y'all, but like I said, this has been like one of the most enlightening points of my life. People who have reached out to me, people who have helped me, anything I've ever needed, people have been like, yo, bam, 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 God is working. So all of the mental health shit and all of the things that I was going through with my kids and this and that and the other, it seemed like it's all that went away, and it's all coming into focus, and I feel like that this journey has been amazing. It's days where I wake up, and Tone Horton just posted, and I got to tell you this, Tone, it's amazing how God works, because it's days where I'll be like, damn, man, I need to get on this social media and let these motherfuckers know that you got to breed healthy dogs, and I click on there and Tone Horton and put up 10 messages and 10 examples. Even when I ain't working, I feel like God is working to help save this breed, and push us through, for us to be here with me being absent, in, out, so many failures on different things, so much going on. And for us to be here, we got 50 people live, on an impromptu live. And I'm sure to go back to where we were seeing a couple hundred as soon as the algorithm catch on and alert everybody. I noticed a lot of my people from England and stuff ain't being alerted. But it's just, you know what I'm saying? It's God's plan, not for me to save the breed, but for us to care about real dogs to save the breed. You know what I mean? And not just the American bully, but all of these breeds, We got some real guys. We got some guys who have stood the test of time, and ladies, by the way, who have stood the test of time and who have put their heart on the line and let it be known that what they're here to do. And it's like 300. It always remind me of 300 when what I'm saying. He asked him, "What do you do?" And I'm a carpenter. What do you do? Oh, I'm a steelsmith. What do you do? I do this. And then he asked the Spartans. He said, "What do y'all do?" You know what I'm saying? And they said, "Ha-hoo, ha-hoo." You get 300 real guys, man, and sometimes you definitely don't need 300. We got a real crew of people who care about dogs here, who pushing the word, and we can't say much about that other community, but really that other community is like many of the things that we see in our lives right now, to where they're more so into disseminating lies and stirring emotions than to tell the truth. We are in an ugly situation to where we can't even see, the lies that they're telling. We can't even see, well, we can see them, we see them, but other people can't. Like it always amazes me that it's not a huge topic on social media when it's literally someone every single day posting a dog that's dying. That's not the way this shit's supposed to be. And when you see them 18 months, you know what I mean? But then you turn around and you see people who are bragging about how much their dog stood for and this, that, and the other. And the truth of the matter is you pushing out hot garbage. You know what I mean? All of y'all are pushing out hot garbage. You got so-called dog celebrities who are telling you horrific stories of the way it goes. You know what I mean? And they still ignore that shit. It's amazing. But like I said, I feel amazing. I even told y'all the story of yesterday, and I'm just like anybody who watched this, y'all know I have a strong belief in God, but I'm very spiritual in that way too. Is that like yesterday, man, we buried my cousin Irvin, and my cousin Irvin was that dude. We all got one in our family. Cuz is about 6'1", 6'2". Dude's chest was like this. I mean, it was. He's a massive cat. You know what I'm saying? And I hadn't seen him in years, even though my family, we more so stay in touch through the phone and social media. It's so many of us, it's hard to get us all together. But cuz unfortunately had diabetes. And couldn't overcome that. And he passed away, but. After everything in the morning and stuff, I said, well, let me see. And I went to the gym, right? And I had been telling my dude Mike, which Mike just tuned in. It's weird. But my dude Mike just turned. I told him sometimes when your body and your mind start to work together, like you get all the BS off your chest, and you know what I mean, and your body will start working better. So man, y'all know I'm gonna get right back to dogs, but this shocked me, and it's not a bragging thing. But it had been years. I was like, the last time I had came close to 30 reps on the bench press with 315, I was like 25, And ever since then, I would be in the area, but I never got higher than that. So yesterday, I'm feeling a bunch of emotions. I'm stretching out, and I just went down. You see, man, I'm just gonna go for, I'm gonna go for broke on this shit, man. And like I say, you know what I mean? I never probably will do 31 reps in my life again with 315. I ain't gonna say never, you never know what happens. But I was just in that zone, where the body and the mind, and I felt motivated by everything that was going on. And really it just, what I'm saying, it validated through that silliness, something as simple as lifting weights, that what I mean, that I feel like I'm getting back. Like I seen a lot of personal attacks go on this week. I seen a lot of lies about the dogs. I seen a lot of nonsense. And it's like now I got laser focus and I feel good about this dog thing. And I say all that to say is it probably wasn't time for this thing to take off before, because I don't think I was prepared, and God could have put everything in place and it could have went to waste. But now I think just everything is falling in line. And this whole process is going to be about saving these breeds, not just the American Bully. The Rottweiler is one that I see people destroying. The German Shepherd now has a butt that sits 2 inches off the ground. I don't know why they're doing that, but we'll address that. You know what I mean? It's a multitude of things that we need to address, and we need to get the dogs back on physical activity. And not that I would ever try to control what people are selling their dogs for, but we need to get back to quality. Make quality. If you want to sell your dogs for $50,000, make quality, not a kink tail, high rear dog that's scared and shitting on itself in the ring. You know what I mean? Not dogs that are dying at 18 months and all of this carrying on. Make a very high quality dog, and whatever you sell it for is your business. But at this time, we need to elevate the game. And I'll go back to this. For everybody that tells you that this breed was started off of bulldogs, ask them where are the dogs at. Okay. Where she loves these damn Tati things. They're blue, and now her mouth is blue. Sit down and chill. You got your cookies there too. I see your little blue mouth. But this is the second part of what I was telling y'all about the secret, but this is what totally negates their arguments. Where are the dogs at? Because not only do they want you to believe, this is the second part of what they want you to believe. It was always some bulldogs. It was always some bulldogs. It was always some bulldogs. You know what I'm saying? It's always some bulldogs. No, this is a CLS. Yeah, this is a CLS. Yeah. But they always say, where's the bulldogs? Where's the bulldogs? By the way, E-Class is just a little. It seems like, I don't know. We talking cars, by the way, if nobody knows what he's talking about. I've always liked the CLS. I've been buying CLSs since 2005 when it first came out. You know what I'm saying? But AMG. Yeah, I love my AMGs. It's a little speed. But how would it be that we were making all these bulldogs, but no one can go back and show you examples of bulldog? Because just like the pit bull, now you have to remember, the pit bull is comprised of the bulldog. The bulldog's genetics should be stronger than the pit bull. What they are now attempting to make you believe is that myself, Dave Wilson, the whole Gotti line family, going back to the Moors with the gray line, everybody was using these bulldogs, but we were so good that we only picked the dogs who wouldn't give up our secret that we were using bulldogs, and we eliminated all of the dogs that looked exactly like bulldogs. And even though the dogs now that they call terrier, right? You know what I mean? John Stevens, crazy. But I love my cars. I love my cars. I love my dogs. I love weights. But weights, yeah, I love weights. I like weights. You like to go to the gym? Yeah. Yeah. My kids are already, I got little kids and they already worried about their muscles. Gotta love it. But they want you, like, where are all these old school dogs that were bulldogs? Because now when you see, if a person mixes a bulldog in there, they're everywhere. You know what I mean? Oh man, motorsports, good Lord. I ain't got the heart. When I was younger, now if I fall, I'm through. I'll be laid out for 53 days. But it amazes me, like, why in the world? Oh yeah, raise them right, Max. Speed, kiss, whatever you got to do. Get them going. I'm gonna look on there now. You gave me ideas. I got some training to do this summer with these kids, or winter too. But they want you to believe that we use all these bulldogs and none of the traits came through. Isn't that amazing? Think about that. Now you can obviously tell that they mixed something in the brim. They mixed something in the grim. We know that Rocco is mixed because his pedigree even tells you that he's mixed. His grandmother's an exotic. You can see the bulldogs that they mixed. It's no big secret. But why isn't it that the dogs 20 years ago didn't look like the dogs now? That's where that lie where they try to insult all of us old school breeders. Oh, y'all was doing it from the start. That's where the lie really falls apart, the biggest part. Okay, if they want to make y'all believe that we had this secret society where no one was telling it, but where are the dogs, and why didn't the early dogs look like the dogs today? Because if we were breeding these bulldogs into our dogs, don't you think we would have had a Dax? Don't you think we would have had a Rocco? Don't you think we would have had any of these other bulldog type of dogs way back then if we were mixing the dogs way back then? Much love, Trey Wood. It doesn't happen. It didn't happen. You know, like I said, we can always say there might have been a few that did this and the other because we know it was a few that used mastiffs, and I'm quite sure, you know, those are the pulling dogs, the Bordeaux's. We seen that, you know, in certain lines, but you have to think about it. What's going on, Barry? UK in the house. I just said my UK people ain't getting no love. Them damn alerts, you know what I mean? Hey man, King, you know Lippy, you know, I mean, and if y'all don't know who Lippy is, the dude who owned what was that dog, Cash, that died choking on his own vomit in his sleep at a very young age. He decided that he was going to use the same blood with the half sister who has a cleft lip that we call Lippy. That's who Lippy is. The cleft lip sister that this guy wants to breed to reproduce the dog that died throwing up. This is the community that we are in. You know what I mean? It's the community that we are in. This is, yeah, John. You know, we all get old, man. We all get old. I got a boy over here that looks just like Castro. Yeah, big boy. He's gonna be a little bit bigger than Castro, but he's nice, you know. I got several males, and I've been dragging my feet on selling them. I'm gonna sell some of these damn dogs. I've been putting people through it to get them, and I've been trying to find the right people. So, you know, my one homie hit me up from Georgia, and you know, I approved him, and I approved a couple people, you know, that I see that are trying to do the right things with the dogs. But I just feel like we're in a zone, you know what I mean, that some of these dogs I don't want to see go to the wrong people, you know. You know, yeah, and I mean, Max, you're right. That community is not ours. You know, I think anytime that your community can be embarrassed to invite veterinarians to your shows, something needs to change. Stop, duty. Keep your little mitts off my. But you know, when you start talking about being embarrassed to invite veterinarians and being embarrassed to invite outside people, and this is something that I've heard even from those ABKC heads, that they like speak against inviting in AKC people, and you wonder why. You don't have to wonder why. You know what I mean? It's strange. The reason why they want those people to not be around is quite simply because they know those people will call them on their bullshit. They know that those people are not in this thing to run around and abuse dogs. They know that these people are not in this thing to destroy a community. They know that those people will hold them accountable. You know, my favorite word when it comes to my kids, you know, accountability, you know. They are not banning the American Bully. Well, that's a beautiful thing if they're not banning the American Bully. You know, speaking of that, you know, and that's in the UK he was just talking about, you know what I mean? Max, you send that sponsor our way because we ready. I don't know if y'all noticed, but FBI have raided a couple dog people of late. When I tell y'all something, I ain't gonna go too much into that, but when I tell y'all that dog raids have started, yeah, the FBI have raided a couple people. So y'all be, you know, and I say y'all be careful, but FBI has raided a few people. One of them in particular was actually connected to the American Bully and some fighting. So, but the drugs and money laundering was brought up. As many of us people who have indulged in the streets know, that when one raid happens, there's bound to be 2 or 3 more, or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. You know, no telling what this will be. So everybody just, you know, when you deal with these people, be very, very careful. Like I recently had a friend who disappeared off the face of the earth when he found out about it, because he found out he was dealing with the wrong people. We have to be very, very careful on who we deal with in this community, you know, because, and this is sad that I have to talk about this. Well, 2M bullies, yeah, Texas is passing legislation. I want to be particular on that legislation. That legislation, Texas, hey, get off of that. Texas likes to be, you know, chill. Texas loves to be flamboyant. Stop. So Texas likes to put it out there like they have started something. The shows in Texas will be starting. This is September. We're trying to get the Halloween show. That'll be the first one, and then we're going to keep shows going all the way. The only month we won't have shows in Texas will be December. So, yeah. But Texas loves to act as if they've done something major. I'm going to tell you the truth. Those legislations, as they call it, have been in place in a lot of places. A lot of places have rules about how many dogs you can have. As a matter of fact, Tampa, Florida had the same laws that Texas has literally probably 8 years ago, because the reason I know this is because I had, some idiot neighbors, and they kept calling the police. Well, what it was is I was grandfathered in. Since I've already had my dogs there, I was grandfathered in that I could continue to have as many dogs as I want. But also, I was showing them that I had show titles and everything else. Well, it was similar laws in Tampa. If your dogs were proven to be show dogs, or they had a purpose, generally if they were competition dogs of any sort, you could get around the 5-dog rule. Well, Texas has that same loophole in their stuff. A lot of places have that, and it is something to keep on watching, because the biggest problem is this. You know what? It's funny as I like a lot of stuff that Bossy does, but those Merles have really killed it for me. You know what I mean? They have some beautiful dogs and they have some healthy dogs. I've seen some very, very nice dogs. I've had a chance to judge a couple of their dogs. They have some beautiful dogs. I'm just not okay. Lay down. Push your seat back. But I have, it's just a Merle thing with me and Bossy. You know what I mean? I understand. I never hate on a big kennel that's getting their money and everything like that. Just that whole Merle thing is not my thing. You know what I mean? I got friends that breed Merles. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Rico? So it's not like I hate them. It's just like that's not the way we do things around here. It's just like, everybody got them family members who ain't living right. And it's one of those things. But the laws are changing, and this is something, you know what I mean? Much love, Russia. Yes, indeed. We cleaning up around here. We getting all around the world. I tell you, Russia, that's wild, man. Much love. I got to shout out to Russia again. That's the first time I ever seen Russia pop up on here. But one of the things, hey, quiet. Shh. But hold on 1 second. She's trying to figure out. It's like that. You want to lay back? Okay, right there. You good? Okay? Just lay down. She's trying to figure the whole seat thing out. But one thing that has to be, the one thing that has to be said about what we see going on here is that there are no There are no advocates for the American bully. There are no real advocates. Excuse me, I won't say that. Take your shoes off. The AKC is a great advocate for the dogs in general. The AKC has attorneys. The AKC will, throw their ring in the hat to protect dogs in general. I think what is sad is that, we have a registry, and yes, I'm going to talk about the ABKC, but we have a registry that's collecting millions of dollars a year. And if you get in trouble with your American bully, you can't call them for help on any level. They don't have attorneys to fight for the breed. They don't have anybody who's standing up for the breed in general. They're not doing anything to help the breed. They're just continuously collecting money from the community. And it goes along with their mantra of just, robbing the community. It's pretty sad, No, Mike, it's not too early. I would just say anything with the spring pole. You let them hit the spring pole, but just watch how they working it. You know what I mean? Watch how they're working it. Uh, Generally, under 6 months is the biggest time that you want to watch the spring pole. But you know, safe time under the spring pole is always a year. You know what I mean? Man, Barry, I appreciate that, and I can't wait to get to the UK. It's gonna be fun. You know, it's gonna be fun to it's gonna be fun to go ahead and make sure. Calm down, girl. You see what happens after they get a nap. Sit down, girl. But
You're not getting that.
you did just take a nap. Look, she wanna argue and everything.
I need to play.
You need to play? Okay, I'm gonna let you out to play in a minute.
We're here.
Terrence, I'll call you after we end this. That's no problem. But you know, it just, you know, we don't have anything. Man, much love, New Zealand. Man, you know, it's funny. I have some dogs over in New Zealand. Man, I'm gonna make myself like super available. You know, I'm willing to travel wherever, set up shows wherever. One of the things that I want to do with every show is seminars and different things, so we can really put a good foot forward. So even if the spies come in to want to learn to look at how we do things, they get a great representation of us. Because sometimes it's good to have spies from different agencies that will come and check to see how you're doing things. So when you represent yourself, so it doesn't matter if we're in England, New Zealand, Russia, or right there in New Jersey. We need to put our best foot forward and start showing them that the American bully is not what has been represented, you know, in other places. And not just the American bully, but in this registry in particular, we have some other breeds that are, you know, like the you know, you got the Belgium, you've got some tough dogs, you've got the Corsos, you've got the Pressas, you got some guys who don't have the best reputations all the time, the Caucasian. You got some monstrous dogs in this registry, but we want to put our best foot forward to represent the dogs properly and to educate everybody about these breeds. Because those who don't know, I mean, we all know the main thing that in DeCarla, the main thing that with anything that people are afraid of, and they, you know, I mean, excuse me, anything that people don't understand, they're afraid of. You know what I mean? You know, and that's it. You know, I will agree. And guess what, King? This is the thing. I demand health testing. You know, before you breed anything, and right now it's skimpy and it's small. So right now, you know, before any dogs are bred through our registry, we're printing up the forms. We will have the forms that they have to send in with their registration that needs to be verified by their doctors, that this dog has went through a physical and has no heart abnormalities, has no breathing abnormalities. Once that is signed, you can get your litter registered, and you can DNA testing. I understand that that's more to do, but I think you know, let's be realistic. Anybody on here who is going to breed a dog, you're going to sell the puppies for more than $1,000 or at least $1,000. So it should not kill you to go in there and spend a few $100s to have it verified that this dog is at least at the minimum healthy enough to be bred without heart murmurs, elongated palates, and things that will shut him down, you know, through his cardiovascular system. And the next step of DNA testing your dog, what do you have to hide? You should be happy to put it on paper, you know what I mean, that look, check this dog out. Would you stop? This girl is crazy. But you know that you should be able to put it on paper that your dog is who you say it is, and you don't have anything to hide, you know. And I don't understand, you know, why people go through so much, you know. Yeah, it needs to be about dogs and not dollars. It needs to be about quality. It needs to be a celebration of the dog more so than it is a celebration of the people, you know. And that's the thing, you know. Sit down. You're gonna break the seat doing that. But this is the problem that we've had so much is that people's ego trips. You know what I mean? Even in Bashar's big stack off, y'all saw this guy where he's got a picture of himself, and I found it comical. I'm not gonna lie to you, but he's got a picture of himself with his Lamborghini and his dog on his little tank top that he's wearing. You know what I mean? And it's just like all you hear is people talk about these guys, and they're not being held accountable. Like I've never seen any of these so-called big name breeders and the people that they glorify actually be held accountable for making a healthy dog. I've never seen them be held accountable for what goes wrong with these dogs. If you use the old semen, right, it can still be DNA tested. Semen can be DNA tested when they spin off and they use the seminal fluid. That's not a problem. Of course, the puppies itself can be that, but any old frozen semen, of course, we're not going to be ridiculous. You can bring that in, but it will be a DNA profile on it. You know what I mean? So hopefully that the breeder themselves, stop, girl. The breeder themselves has been ethical and not selling multiple semen, off of different dogs, because in the future that could become a problem if you're noticing that half brothers and half sisters aren't matching up. But even at that point, you can't so much punish the people who used it. You know, you just have to put some kind of thing in there to where it might have to be a different type of registration, basically an asterisk on the registration. But we want to make it, I'll explain this again. Our goal is not for now, this second, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's the way it is. They tell people that all the time, you know, oh, $50,000, you can do this, you can do that. It's a Ponzi scheme, you know what I mean? People are not gonna do that, you know what I mean? What many people have found out is that you spend a ton of money and you really can't sell the dog for that amount of money anymore, you know? And I mean, like you say, it's fine sometimes, you know. I don't mind holding on to my dogs. I'll hold on to them. It just, I want to get them to good homes, you know what I mean? What's going on, fam? You know what I mean? California out there. But, you know, the key for us is to make sure that, you know, we do best by the breed. You know, your impact right now in this whole thing is to make quality again, you know. And it's amazing that our community has sunk so low that the rest of the world, you know, laughs at this community. You know, you have, you know, news reports in England and, you know, all around the world, the breed is looked at as a horrible breed, and it's looked at to be associated with the wrong people. And it's just something that we need to change. You know, we need to change everything that we're seeing going on. Well, CNW, that's the thing. And see, the way you say you can't understand it, you know what I mean? That's the mentality that we want to recreate. And I understand it's not an overnight mentality. This is something that has to happen. You know, we have to start getting past the lies and the things that people are saying where they're like, yo, y'all been doing it, so we got to do it, and this is the way it's going to be. No, we have to move forward to a point to where we can go ahead and get this thing back to where it's strictly about dogs. I want to, at our first nationals, and I know that's going to be very, very short as far as the big picture goes, but at our first nationals, I would love to see lineup of dogs that are just very, very high quality. You know, a bunch of very, very high quality. I don't care about how bully your dogs are. Some dogs, you know, your dog may not totally meet the standard of what an American bully is, and that's fine, because if your dog is a little light, say for instance, if your dog needs more mass, it's easier for me to help you, to advise you and other breeders. And if you don't need advice, it's easy for you yourself to add mass than it is for you to add health and conformation to a bad dog. That's the thing. If y'all want to look at something, look at Marco Suarez's yard and look at dogs like Chili Pepper, and you see the ripped up dogs. You see, you know, a lot of muscle, you see things, but they're not with the most mass. Well, if you follow the development of some of their puppies, you'll see generation to generation, there's more mass coming on the dogs because they're being bred for more mass, but the foundation was the structure. You know, it's just like a building. You know, if you get this chance to see the foundation, and you get the chance to see the structure. That's what's holding everything together. You can constantly change everything else throughout the building, but that foundation and that structure is what's going to hold and what's going to allow us to go forward. This is what we're focusing on. You know, we are not promoting obese dogs. We are not promoting overdone dogs. It would be unethical as a registry, and it's unethical as a breeder to promote something that you know can't exist for a long time. You know, and the bottom line of it all is that we all know if anything gets too big, it can't exist. You know, I've often brought up the Belgium cows. The Belgium cows, you know, throughout the breeding process, they got super muscular. They got gigantic muscular. They've gotten to the point where it's amazing to look at, but you know what's going to happen. They don't live long. You know, they have horrible arthritis. They have a lot of problems. They really can't move, but they have a ton of muscle. The Belgium cow is the best example of what we've turned the American bully into. You know, you see a lot of these dogs, and it's painful to watch them move, because anybody in their right mind, when you watch this dog move, and it's very, very clunky, and the dog moves, you know what I'm saying, in parts instead of a nice even flow, you already know that those joints are suffering, because the way all of our bodies are made is that it should flow. If you see a human being and they, you know, and they're walking and they're, you know, it's bad for business. It's bad for business. That's called a limp. You know, some joint is hurting. You know, some muscle is hurting. So why is it acceptable with the dogs? Barry, I can get puppies to the UK. I guess with you know, the last time I checked to get a dog over, I know I took one to Cyprus. Usually they're talking about like $1,500 to ship the dog, and I don't, you know, my puppies don't go over $5,000. It's generally $3,500 to $5,000, but most of the time it's at $3,500, and that's US, so I don't know what the transfer rate is, but generally, you know, we keep it at a decent rate. Because I know everybody has shipping costs, and my prices have pretty much been the same for all the better part of 15 years, and even going back to the very first litters, I think they were $2,500. So yeah, I don't go into the $15,000-$20,000 range. That's, you know, and hey, like I said, I'm not knocking anybody's money or anything like that, but that's why I've been doing what I've been doing. You know, I like to keep it there because, and I'll tell you why I try to keep the prices more manageable for anybody listening. For one, you know, we do other things. You know, people actually have jobs around here and other hustles and different things of that nature. But for two, I think for me, and I'm only speaking for myself, so I don't need any arguments. I found out that when you make a price more manageable for people, you get your dogs in good homes. And y'all have heard me say this on other videos. I like to put it in an area to where I know that everybody, you know, for a larger population can afford the dogs, because that way I can pick and choose who I want my dogs to go to, and I can get them in their forever homes. Some people say forever homes, but they're not really forever homes, you know. And that's the key. We want to get them to people who are going to do the right thing. The dog is going to, like, I love getting pictures of the dog stretched out, you know, having their little Mr. Miyagi sweaters on. The Mr. Miyagi Christmas suits on, you know what I mean? Yeah, Barry, you know, you can hit me, you can email me at tbkcdogs, or you can call me on the number I always post up. I even have, I have that, what is it, WhatsApp? I have that, I think I have that connected to another phone, but yeah, you know, Hall of Fame Bullies on Facebook, you know, just hit me up however, you know, like I say, TBKC Dogs on the email, and I'll figure out my WhatsApp number, and because I never use it too much, but, but, you know, the thing that we're doing now, right? I'm trying to bring a lot of the genetics back. That's why I have Armani semen, I have Little Rose semen, I'm about to do the ozone breeding and the Armani breeding. But you know, we're bringing some of the old dogs back eventually in another 5, years maybe. You're gonna see me do more Denzel breeding. You're gonna see me do more Mandela breedings. You're gonna see me do more breedings that from my studs now that I don't use as much to tie into that. But I plan on using Honey Badger. My good friend Marco Suarez. I'm gonna at least use 2 of his studs, and we're gonna figure out which 2 those is, with what he's willing to come up off of, and add that. But I really want to get the look and the health of the older dogs, because I feel like that a lot of the newer dogs, the health has been diminished. What's going on, James? And like I told y'all, even currently, I have y'all on live. If anybody, maybe you got extra money or you got bitches, but I have 4 studs right now. Come to find out, Odell does have one, but I have Odell, I have Chubb, I have Tommy, it's incredible, and I have a XL male, Creed, who's off of the real Camelot blood. All of those studs are being sold for $1,000. Now, it's weird because 2 have been bought off of each one, so all of them have 1 left. But it's $1,000. And what I'm doing is, one of my friends is in a situation medically and needs some assistance. So that's why it's listed as a charity stud. But I try to make stuff available, man. Throughout the years I have. I never charged the full price on Denzel studs either. Never. Not one time did I charge anybody like all the way out of pocket. Even if I didn't have a pup back, I would always give them a deal, because it's not a huge business to me as much as it is getting this stuff to people and get it in their right hands and letting them do their thing to keep the blood going. I think people's greed has really, really, really hurt this breed in a big way, because some of the quality stuff, has went to the wayside, and now it's just all about industry in this thing. I think, even when we talk about new school bone, you know what I'm saying? You can take the old blood and make have the dogs boned up. Mandela is a great example of how big bone a dog can be. Denzel's bone was as big as any pocket. That was one of the things that everybody used to talk about with Denzel. His bone was just huge, man. Biggie's bone was like incredible. That whole litter just had bone for days, But the thing of it is it the proper bone? Because a lot of the new school dogs, look how they move. So the bone is big, but is there a fusion? You have the shorter upper arms on a lot of these dogs now, and I'm talking about like 90% of the boned up dogs have the shorter upper arms, and there's no actual bend to the elbow. That's a problem, and that's where we have to decide. You know what I mean? Yeah, Hallie grew like she was like a real pit bull, and then she got like a bully body with a pit bull head. It was weird, but but it turned out all right for me. But that weird short upper arm, it seems like it's a fusion going on in the elbow, where the elbow doesn't have good bend. It's a lot going on with these dogs, and we're ignoring it. If y'all ever wonder, and I'm not trying to be funny, but sort of funny, but some of these damn dogs move like the Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know. Chill. Sit back, because you're touching everything. Your hands are dirty. But I don't know if y'all noticed that a lot of these dogs, they move and they don't bend their front. It's like they're throwing their front legs, and they're sort of just like wobbling from side to side. Watch the show clips. That is a big problem. And it goes back to what I was saying about the Belgium, is that at what point is it that the dog gets too big, too muscular? Exactly, James. It's like, still they have that wobble. Well, if you see that wobble and you see that herky jerky type motion, I remember Bashar is a mess. Bashar is just a mess in general, man. Deep down inside, I like a tiny little bit of Bashar, because he's so comical. It's like, if I'm bored, I just click in Bashar and just get a good laugh, because he's a motherfucker. But you know what I mean? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Is that at the end of the day, I look at it, and I sometimes I'm like, it amazes me. I got some stuff coming up, man. My thoughts go every which way, but I got some stuff coming up, you know. But you know, it's not about me and the breeding. I want to see the community come together and really start doing some nice breedings and us get back to having fun. Like I understand everybody has to sell a dog for some money. You know what I mean? Most times. But at the end of the day, we need to get back to a thing where we can brag about the right things. Like other communities where they brag about how good the hips are, how good the lungs are. They've done the total health testing, and you see it when they list their dogs. They list all of the testing that they've done on their dogs and how great their dogs is. We need to get to that point, you know what I mean? My brothers, Devil's Den Bullies, Otis, what's going on, man? You know, me and Mike, we didn't did a couple things. You want me to put it up? Okay, we'll put it up at home. But okay, just chill. Yeah, I tell you what, Oscar is one of the people. I was talking about Mike from Devil's Den. Me and Mike go way back. I stayed at the house, was at his wedding and everything. You know, we old EE brothers, coolest cat in the world. But Oscar really is Oscar is really the one who I can say literally has done the most DNA testing out of anybody. Yeah, the Chum Chum daughter is going to Ozone. Another 20-year frozen semen deal. Yeah, she should be coming in the heat now any day, because the girl next to her is actually going out of heat. That, you know what I mean? It's an amazing thing when we get into it, you know. Yeah, I'm bringing a lot of that old school funk back, and I'm not worried, because the thing of it is that I know what the old dogs look like, and a lot of the old dogs didn't lack bone. You know what I mean? They didn't lack bone. It's just, if you're a person who wants that type of bone that's gonna make the dogs have peg legs and all that shit and no motion, you're probably not gonna get that. But I tell you, you know, I'll put Mandela's bone next to any of theirs, but he moves and he flows. You know what I mean? That's what I'm into trying to make. I have to find the balance, and I think that's what makes you a breeder. You find the balance of, you know what I'm saying, good to the eye, you know, versus good for the dog. You know, you find that balance to where the dog is healthy and still looks exactly like it's supposed to look, or what you want it to look like. And right now what we're seeing is we're just seeing too many dogs where only thing they care about is what the dog looks like standing still and from the front. If you have the dog standing still and it's posed from the front, and you can get that one good front shot, you know, you too can charge $10,000 a stud. That's not the way that this thing should be. You know, some of the things that I'm seeing now that I'm getting from people is just, it's a sad thing, you know. It's a sad thing, because, you know, I'm seeing so many people, and y'all know I have a lot of people on my social media, but it never fails. It seems like every day somebody is, yeah, giant paperweights. But it seems like that every day people are having dogs that are dying. People are having dogs that they've got. And I understand when you get on social media, you look at a breeder and everybody, like Bashar had a whole thing in a seminar and all the people are surrounding him. And it's easy for somebody who doesn't know better to look at that and be like, oh yeah, this dude, he knows what he's talking about. You know what I mean? He knows what he's talking about. And then they're not telling you that, you know, this is also a man who sent out a lot of dogs that have died on people, like damn near on the spot. Has also sent out a lot of dogs that had, well, I won't say a lot of dogs, but at least one had a 5th-degree heart murmur. And I've got, you know, you talk about keeping receipts. I got receipts where, you know, these brothers in England literally had to put down all 3 of the dogs that they got from Bashar pretty much on site, you know. Pretty much on site when they got the dogs, and they did the the intake with the veterinarian and everything like that. The veterinarian recommended that they put all 3 dogs down. You know, that's a tough way to go. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's a tough way to go. You know, that's a tough way to go. Jesus, you know he'll be there. You know, there ain't no problem. But we've gotten to a point to where how far can they take it? Quiet. You only got a little bit more time. Quiet. How far can you take it before it all falls apart? And that's the thing. If it gets to the point where it all falls apart, then it's over with. I mean, a dominant female, those are characteristics. Now, if you plan on breeding it, you definitely want to breed to a dog that has less of that temperament and not double down on that temperament. And when you say dominant, it just depends on what level. If she's overly, then I wouldn't breed her. But if she's just a dominant girl, I've got a few of them. I've got bitches that pick up their leg to pee. I got bitches that won't take nothing from a male, so it just depends on how the dominant you are. But you just have to decide, is this too dominant to be bred? And if it's just something that you want to balance the temperament, you go with a more laid back dog. And that's not to guarantee that on the next litters that you're going to have a bunch of laid back dogs. It just greatly lessens the likelihood that you'll have super high drive or intensity dogs. Houston got it jumping. I can't wait to meet everybody out here in Houston. We're gonna have a good time, man. We're gonna have a good time in Russia. If we ever get to Russia, we're gonna have a good time in Russia. We have a good time in England. I think I really would love to see, people enjoy themselves, come to shows, and feel like that they have a fair opportunity to win the shows and just really celebrate dogs, man. I remember the shows were more about celebrating dogs and having a good time. We ran through the history of this breed, and I think now we have to stop, for lack of a better term, the propaganda in the breed. The constant talk of this money and who's this and who's that and this, that, and the other. Can you make a nice dog? Can you make a quality dog? Can you make a dog that's going to live? Can you make a dog that's going to be what it's supposed to be? Can you make something that you're going to be proud of? If you can make something that you're going to be proud of, that's fine. In this breed, as far as titles that I don't care about, the people will tell you, I produced with the best of them. I don't know where I rank at. I was number one with the, but who knows where I rank at? Maybe still up there. But the thing of it is that we have to, I would like to see the breed go in a direction to where a lot of people feel good about the shows the way I used to. I used to love the show ring because I felt like I never won shows that were set up and shit like that. Now let me see. Really Hall's pause. A lot of it's just going to be about how to balance her. If you think the dog is acceptable in many ways, that's the part about breeding that gets amazing. It's like when I did the Hallie and Gargoyle breeding. Hallie balanced Gargoyle. He balanced her because of the features that they had. Like Hallie had a very big head, but Gargoyle had the best shaped head probably that I've ever seen, him and Nemesis. So, Gargoyle was built like a statue, but of course Gargoyle's tail wasn't good. So, but Hallie was built like a statue, but very robust, very, very big. And I wanted her tighter and chiseled up. And Gargoyle helped out with a lot of that. So when you're doing a breeding, that's when you say, okay, is all things acceptable with both dogs? Now, how will they complement each other? And the complement is going to be your result. I've seen people take two good dogs, right? And they breed two good dogs together, but they don't complement each other. And that can happen too, Like, I've seen people and they be like, well, her rear could be better, but it's not bad, but it could be better. Then they take a male who his rear could be better, but it's not bad. It's like, you're not balancing. You're making the same dog over again. You're hitting reset, and possibly making the rear even worse, Okay, Dax related. This is the thing I would tell you about Dax. Dax is not outlawed or anything of that nature, but you should try to avoid it and push it to the back end of a pedigree. So if you're looking at a pedigree and as you go further and further back with Dax and it's all Dax behind there, you're going to be in trouble. And the reason being is, of course, we know that Dax had the hip issue, Dax had the breathing issue, Dax had the heart issue, and he passed it along. You know, I've known of several dogs that were Dax related that had to be put down before 2 years old just for their hips. Dax himself died at a young age because of cardiovascular issues. And this is the scary part when you talk about Dax, but think about it, a dog that had 5,000 puppies, and here we are, you know what I mean? What is it? Well, Dax would probably be about 14 now or somewhere in that area. But very few of his offspring are even living, you know, very, very few of his offspring are even living. You'd be hard pressed at this time to find 200 actual Dax offspring out of 5,000 dogs. Most of those dogs died before they were 5 years old. So these are genes that you would be compounding. So I'm not one of those people that say, oh, if it has anything Dax in there, you got to eliminate it right now, because I know percentages, and as you move further and further back in the generations, the percentages get lower and you have a better chance of making some good dogs with it. But you definitely want to push it, and you know what I'm saying, and that do it, yeah. Yeah, you want to, you know what I'm saying, you can wash it out by just getting the percentages to be so low that it's not relevant. And that's with almost any dog, you know. If you breed away from it so far and so long, it'll go away, you know. And it'll be, let's just say, it'll be a very, very minute chance that it happens to affect your breedings, affect your dogs. So that's where you want to be at with a dog like Dax or any other dog that is known for having issues, even if it's Rocco or whatever. You want to breed it as further away as you can. So my general thing, just speaking on me, is I don't like Dax to be any closer than, say, the great grandfather, really great grandfather, because the first generation, you're talking about 50% of the blood. Second generation, 25%. Third generation, you're down to 12.5. So that's when, when I do my breedings, you know what I'm saying, I'll be down to 6.25. That's manageable. But if I can get up under that and get down to the point that we're, you know, under 5% of his blood being affecting anything, then I'm in a very, very good position to go forward and say, you know what, it's a very high unlikelihood that any of his issues are going to come back to bite me. Oh man, you talking about some good blood there. You know what, ultimate opportunity, that's the stuff I'm doing. I'm actually doing some stuff. I'm getting some stuff from Pratt's. I'm definitely gonna have to visit Oscar. I made that decision yesterday that I'm gonna have to go and see about Oscar and try to get a female off of his yard and do some things. Maybe not even to one of my studs. It might end up being to one of these old studs. But you know, just trying to bring that old blood back, because the number one thing is that I want my dogs to be able to survive and thrive. Surviving and thriving is the name of the game when you talk about this. And you know, we're building. We're in the building process. So as we are in the building process, we have to build strong, you know what I'm saying? And we have to make dogs that are going to be winners. And winners start with winning blood, you know. I mean, if I have a chance to get Kamali blood, I want to get Kamali blood, because Kamali was a winner, very well put together, very strong dog. If I have a chance to get more Paco blood, that's what I'm going to do. And I'll go ahead and I'll work it and manipulate it to get it to where I want it to be. But I would rather go back, you know, to stuff that I know what it is instead of some of this stuff. And it's not to bash the breeders of now. It's just I can't live with people, you know, getting my dogs and the dog is dead within 3 years or dead within 5 years. To put that on your, you know, to put that on what you're doing is just ridiculous. You know, I know how this breed started. I know the quality of the dogs that was started. And yeah, I would love to have another Remy. You give me a Remy with 15 pounds of good muscle, a little more spread, and you damn near got the perfect dog. For me, anyway. You know what I mean? Take Remy up to 100 pounds instead of 85 pounds. Add a 2 inches onto that beautiful head. A little more chest spread. Thicken up that rib cage. And we talking action. You know what I mean? That's the drop the mic, walk off type of dog. Gotta love it. And with that being said, I also, what drives me crazy is And I want to speak on what Marco said is who are these people that they just decide that they get to say what the dogs is? No, I don't think that Remy was better than Ruger. I think Remy is Remy. So it depends on what we're saying better. He definitely was a better producer. Remy doesn't Ruger doesn't have any puppies. But looks wise, Ruger is a better dog because Ruger was the new age. Now we talking about Ruger going back to about 10 years ago. It's crazy to think about it that Ruger in his heyday was like 2014, But Ruger was Remy with more size. That's why I always say that Ruger might be one of the most perfect dogs that I've ever seen. You know, Robert crazy, but you know what I mean. Ruger was one of the most perfect dogs that I've ever seen. If Ruger's owner wasn't so difficult to deal with, I think Ruger could have been like the base for this breed in many ways because he showed in the couple litters that he did have that he could produce a pocket. Excuse me, that was very, very similar to him. He produced one named Luger. That's it. And Ruger could have produced dogs over and over again that were incredible like himself. And it's sad that, that's just as sad as Dax to me. When you have a dog that had the genetics, that had the lineage, you got to remember that Ruger had my blood. He had some of Pratt's blood. He was just incredibly well put together dog all around. That dog could have, he could have led the American Bully out of the dark ages, pretty much, and egos and all of that stuff gets in the way. And Ruger, I think in his whole life might have had 2-3 litters, that's a sad story in itself. But Ruger was an incredible dog. Pokemon wasn't utilized nearly the way that he should have been. That was another dog that was just like, you get blessed with great examples of what a breed is supposed to be. And it just didn't happen. Oftentimes people talk about Remy and they talk about Paco and they talk about Denzel. And the great thing about those particular dogs is that, they did sort of carry they put the breed on their back with the number of breedings they did, the amount of quality that they had out here, the amount of dogs that come off of those dogs. They kept the true American Bully alive. But the sad part is that Ruger might have been the best one out of them all, and it never happened. You know what I mean? It never happened. Well, the USBR, they don't like me, James, so it is what it is. A lot of registries don't like me because of what I've been speaking on, You know what I mean? They much love, Halls. I try to keep them going. I try to get the people the deals, we see how that works. But, I just want to do my part, honestly. I told you I plan on retiring in another. It ain't like it's around the corner. I only got about 7 more years of this shit. Then I'll just be a judge. I breed once a year like Pratt's, But they it was some beautiful dogs that Ruger was one of the ones that really broke my heart because Ruger could have done so much for this breed and he just got wasted. He went to the wayside. And they never really did what they were supposed to do with that dog. He was a wonderful dog, a beautiful dog. And imagine taking his genes and being able to bounce that back to the blood that he came off of, like Denzel, or bounce that back to some of the Pratt stuff, or even taking it over to the Remy stuff, which he had that look, which is all still in the same family. As you know, Paco and Remy come from the same family. Well, they all come from the same family, come to think about it. It could have been a beautiful thing, man, but it all went to the wayside. And, the only thing is that you take the same ingredients and you make the same dogs, and it's up to us. And when I say us, I'm talking about y'all too, We collab, we put our brains together, and we rebuild a breed that seems to be lost, man. But I tell y'all what, this little lady is hungry and ready to go and sleepy and cranky and everything else. We've gotten in our couple hours. I appreciate y'all. Tomorrow is Memorial Day. Look, now she wants kisses. Disgusting. But tomorrow is Memorial Day, or whichever holiday it is. I'm getting confused.
In the morning we wake up.
Yeah, in the morning we gotta wake up. So you know what I mean. So you know we gonna go back live. Tomorrow I'm gonna be working and helping a friend. You know what I'm saying? So what we'll do is Tuesday we'll get another live in. We'll try to make it a morning live, and I think that's gonna work out for us good. I appreciate y'all, man. This has been beautiful. This is one of the better lives I think that we've had. And, you know, let's continue to talk about some solutions. I want to mix some other stuff in there, man. I want to get to talking about the Caucasian and the Corso and some other dogs that'll be allowed, because some of y'all do have other dogs. And we always, you know what I'm saying, oh, yeah, she knows it's her time now. She's like, bye-bye, everybody. Thank you. But, but yeah, I want us to not just talk bullies, but you know, talk about how this whole competition thing is gonna go and how we gonna put it together, man. So, you know, like I told y'all, if y'all want to reach me, it's 346-292-6560. I'll be posting up. They say bye, Dooney. Uncle Tony said bye, Dooney.
Bye-bye. Bye, Uncle.
But I tell you what, you know, we need to, this is gonna be a community. It's not just gonna be American bullies. We're gonna have a good time. But let's turn ourselves back into dog men and dog women and see if we can you know, see if we can get this thing going. Much love to y'all. I'll post everything available. If y'all interested in any of those studs that are on the low, we'll get that together. But man, this has been beautiful. I needed this. Once again, I will say shout out to, you know what I'm saying, my cousin. Man, Irvin, that was my cat, man. God bless you. Ain't nothing but love. Y'all all enjoy yourself tomorrow. Don't y'all eat too much. Don't drink too much. You know what I'm saying? And if you eating, eat good. I hope you cooking your own food and not ordering Domino's pizza. If you drinking, drink good. Drink you some of that Hennessy or some of that good vodka, or, you know what I'm saying, top shelf wine. And if you smoke,
Talk to my uncle like that. Don't talk to my uncle.
this
like
is
that.
why you can't. Hey, it's my show. This ain't your show. But anyway,
My show.
this your show?
Not your show.
You see what I mean? First it was poop. Now they don't want to let me get my little shine on. But if you gonna smoke, smoke good. Don't be smoking that stuff that your uncle growing in the grandma's backyard with them sticks and them seeds and stuff. Get you some of the moon rock, that Mike Tyson, that Hawaiian silky blueberry fame. And if you gonna do that thing that me and Rihanna be doing to make all these beautiful babies, man, y'all make sure that y'all do it well, or he or she might leave your ass. Much love to y'all. I will check y'all out Tuesday. John say, hey, John already smoking. You're cheating, man. It's all good. Much love to y'all. Shout out to the UK, Russia. It has been beautiful. Canada. And which one am I forgetting? And I would, you know what, the other country that I'm forgetting, and I know which one it is, and I want to say it's Nova Scotia, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Much love to y'all. I appreciate y'all as always. I'll see y'all Tuesday. Peace.
Peace.